Namaste. So now we're going to continue the introduction to Sri Tripurārahasya. The last time we talked about the origins and history of the work and kind of the basic outline. This time we're going to talk about the philosophy. Last time we mentioned that Tripura doesn't really mean the Trinity. It means the three worlds, or it means the three gods of the Hindu Trinity, the Vedic Trinity, Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma. It also means the three modes of material nature, and is symbolized by the three letters of Aum, A-U-N. So, the ultimate form of this goddess that we're worshiping is Kāmākśī Lalithā Mahā-Tripurasundarī. Okay? Other forms of the goddess are derivative, and they demonstrate less qualities or less potency than this form. Now let me go into a little bit about what each of these names mean. Kāmākśī, well, this is a deep, deep name, and we'll get into the complete explanation of it in the purport to the first shloka of another scripture that we're going to go over soon, which is even more elevated than this one. So for now, I'd rather skip over that because it's too deep. But Lalithā. Lalithā basically means spontaneous. A lot of times it's translated as playful, but it really means something more than that. You see, devotional service or bhakti can be on two main platforms. It can be on the platform of rules and regulations, which is called Vaidhi Bhakti, or it can be on the platform of spontaneous love and affection, called Raganuga Bhakti. Raga means an attachment to a certain feeling or mood, and Anuga means one who follows. So one who follows his attachment to a certain feeling or mood of devotional service towards the deity is on the Raganuga platform, and they are not subject to rules and regulations. Lalithā, you see, spontaneous. So this spontaneous devotional service is not limited to any one form. Some people have the misunderstanding that devotional service or bhakti has to be done with the physical body. You see, but this is very limited. And this body is not so nice either. It gets old, it smells bad, it has to be washed every day. You know, so many nasty things come out of it, and it gets sick and dies eventually. So it's not really a very nice way to offer something to the Supreme Lord in whatever form. So what we do instead is, once we develop the habits of the forms, the regulated Vaidhi Bhakti devotional service on the platform of duality, Ajata-vāda, then we automatically advance to the higher platform of Vishishta-dvaita. And this is the real bhakti. This is the spontaneous devotional service. It happened to me so many times during wild kirtans, when the holy name of the Lord just penetrates your whole mind and body. And then you automatically go into states of spontaneous devotion. Or this morning at 2:30 when I got up, that's usually about when I get up. It's the most beautiful time of the day. It's silent. All the idiots are asleep. So I can go deep into meditation, and not with this gross body. I completely forget about this gross body, this temporary, limited duality and identity. And I go into the subtle body, and I perform all kinds of service and adventures, and I mean, it's just indescribable. Leading to mukti. You cannot get mukti in this body. Mukti comes when you're operating in the subtle bodies. So there's no question of advanced devotional service, advanced bhakti in this gross body. Okay? This has so many disqualifications. So why do people have this misunderstanding? Well, it's mostly the religious teachers who are on the dualistic platform, and they want to create a nice sangha. They want to create a religious organization. So just like corporations will do things that lock people into their products or technology, also religions do the same thing. So one of these things is telling people that you don't have to worry about this, subtle devotional service with the subtle body, because you really can't do very much with it, which is a lie. They say you have to do it with the regular gross body. So of course that limits them. They can never move beyond the platform of Vaidhi Bhakti. They can never move beyond the limited platform of a religious organization to spontaneous individual service. Because on the spontaneous platform, you do the service that only you can do. The service that God created you to do, that nobody else can do, only you. So, of course, that has to be spontaneous. It can't come under any rules or regulations. So anyway, then after Lalita, Mahā-Tripurasundarī. Sundari, we already went over Tripura, and Maha means great, of course. But Sundari, what does Sundari mean? A beautiful young girl. So this goddess, in the form of a beautiful young girl, is offering the greatest service as Kāmākśī, the abode of all desires. Okay? Kama means desire, and Akshara means an abode, where you live. So as the abode of all desires, she's offering Shiva, who is desireless and inactive, Brahman, changeless and supreme. She's offering him all of the different varieties of desire and activity. And she is the cosmos. That's why she's Mahā-Tripurasundarī. So now let me read some more from the introduction. As for its philosophy, there is no real reason to distinguish it from Vedanta. Scholars, however, call this system the Tantri or the Shakta, and point out some apparent differences between it and Advaita Vedanta. The supreme reality is no other than abstract intelligence. Intelligence signifies self-luminosity, and abstraction denotes its unlimited nature. No other agent can be admitted to exist apart from it in order to reveal it. In other words, God reveals himself. The apparent variety is only due to vimarsha, the gross aspect of its absolute freedom, known as Svatantra, which at times unfolds the pure self as the cosmos, and at other times withdraws itself and remains unmanifest. This is the supreme will. This is the dance of creation, manifestation, and unmanifestation at last. So this is the pastime, the lila, between Shiva and Shakti. Abstraction and manifestation are inherent in the pure self. These two aspects are given the names Shiva and Shakti, respectively. There cannot be manifestation beyond the supreme intelligence. Therefore, cosmos and the self are only the same but different modes of reality. So the same being is Shiva when in the cosmic form. And and Shakti when in the manifested form. You see, pure intelligence has no activity. But manifestation has all varieties in activity. Yet, these are the same being, just different aspects. Shiva does not have to exert his will to create. It happens automatically. We were giving the example of a boat creating a wake. Just the nature of the boat is to create the wake. So in the same way, just the existence of Shiva automatically leads to the creation. Realization of this truth is thus quite simple, requiring only constant remembrance on these lines, that reality is not incompatible with the world and its phenomena, and that the apparent ignorance of this truth is itself the outcome of reality, so that there is nothing but reality. Nothing but reality. Even the forgetfulness of reality is part of the reality. Why? I was explaining this to one of my students last night. It's the cosmic drama of fall and redemption. This is very entertaining. Just like the ocean makes so many millions and billions of bubbles in the surf and then destroys them all and lets them fade away. This is fun. This is great. This is creative activity for the ocean. And the same with God. God makes the worlds and then winds them up again. It remains inactive for some time and then again creates. This is the dance of Shiva. So, there are no sankalpa-vikalpas, modifications, in the state of dissolution, and the self remains as Chit, pure objectless awareness in absolute purity and unchanging. The self is uniform and undivided. The dispositions of the individuals of the previous kalpa, creation, remain uncognized but potential, awaiting to become manifest in the alternating mode. So even if one does not attain self-realization in this creation, then one can go into a state of like suspended animation and again manifest in the next kalpa. Māyā, Chit, and Avidya are thus the same reality. Cosmos is an expression in the medium of consciousness, and thus not unreal as some would have it. So, in other words, just like a wave of sound vibration is an alternating compression and rarefaction of the air, in the same way, the cosmic creation is alternate manifestation and dissolution. And without one, the other cannot exist. Complements are necessary. Here, the reality of the cosmos is on account of the medium of expression, that is, consciousness, which does not contradict the statement that forms, etc., are unreal. Forms are unreal because they're temporary. They come and go. Like I was telling my student last night, the three aspects of reality are self-independence, permanence, and self-luminosity. The creation fails all three of these tests, so it's not real. Only pure awareness is real, because that's the only thing that remains forever, is self-luminous and needs no other support. So, there is no fundamental difference between Tantra and Vedānta. The Pandits say that Māyā is made subservient to Brahma in Vedānta, that its application is limited to gross manifestation, and that it is therefore gross. which in ultimate analysis resolves itself into void. Whereas, according to Tantra, Māyā is an aspect of reality and should resolve itself into Chit on ultimate analysis. In other words, they're saying that because the creation is unreal, therefore it's ultimately void. But this is not correct. If you actually experience the void, if you go deep into meditation until you have such a big space that the material manifestation shrinks to a tiny dot and disappears, and you're sitting in that void, what's going to happen? Well, first of all, who is aware of that void? See? If you have a big void and you are aware of it, that means your consciousness is filling that void. So, consciousness, Chit, is the ultimate, and everything resolves into it in the end. So, as he says, this cannot be a valid objection, that the cosmos is ultimately void. For, where does the above void rest? It must resolve itself into Chit. Now, these are deep, deep philosophical statements. Without trying to find differences where they do not exist, let the earnest student apply the infallible tests of the peace of mind brought about by the different modes of expression of the reality, and be satisfied and happy. So that's the test, you see. There is no way to reason out the absolute truth. Reason is a very dull tool. It's full of inconsistencies and failures. False logic is very deluding, and it will trick us, and we'll come to wrong conclusions. But if we follow the practices that have been handed down through the parampara, the disciplic succession from the realized souls like Shankaracharya, Ramana Maharshi and Chandrasekharendra Saraswatī, both are followers of Shankaracharya. So we follow Shankaracharya's interpretation of the Vedas and of other scriptures, or even scriptures that he wrote, and we accept the fact that Tantra, or Bhakti, and Vedanta, or meditation, Raja Yoga, are ultimately one and the same. Om Tat Sat. Aum Harihi Aum.